Cody Coyote here. Today I'm going to do a review on a Skookum Bush Tool. So basically this was a knife that I've wanted for a long time, and there's a waiting list to get it. It's up to about 3 years right now. The knife comes in an 01 tool steel, A2, and a 3V. And those are all definitely just matters of preference. Everyone's got their own opinions on which steel is the best. Forums, those debates go on for pages and pages and pages. My choice is an 01. The reasoning, you know, it's I don't know, it's just easy to sharpen. It can spark off of flint. Flint is not the same as, you know, with steel like this. Flint is a rock. So, but basically, you know, there's a bunch of reasons, and I don't need to go into it. But what I ended up getting here is a Skookum Bush Tool that's in 3V. And I probably would have never chose this steel. And I got this knife on the secondhand market, brand new. And that's why the steel is what it is. You know, this is what I could find for an excellent, excellent deal. Thank you to the person I got this from. And I'm actually kind of happy I got a 3V. I'm still on the waiting list for the 01, and you know, I know what that steel is like. So this is just fun to have. You know, it's I've never worked with a 3V steel before. So far, I'm actually really enjoying it. It seems like, you know, a little bit less maintenance, but I'll get into something a little bit later that, you know, could be the steel, could be something else. But so basically, this is the Skookum Bush Tool. What I really, really enjoy about this knife is the ergonomics of the handle. The handle feels excellent in all positions. Holding it no matter what, you know, I just think it feels absolutely wonderful. One of the goofy things about the handle is that it's got these lanyard holes for mounting to like a spear or something like that. And I tell you what, if this was my only knife and it came down to it, I would not mount this thing on a spear. I would keep it as close to me as possible and sharpen and harden the spear probably. But I think that looks really cool. So anyway, the end has got this welded on you know, butt on the end of the tang there, which for me is more of a looks thing, because I'm not going to be pounding anything unless I truly needed to. And there's a lot of things that I wouldn't do with this knife unless I truly needed to. It's just too fancy of a knife, really, which is kind of a drawback. I should just beat it up like I would a Mora, but I have a hard time doing that. Although I have batoned with it, and of course, you know, any piece of metal hit hard enough with a stick is going to go through a piece of wood. So it's definitely not a reflection of how good a knife is, in my opinion. But it worked great, of course. One of the things that I really enjoy about this is the shapes of the blade. It's got this slight drop point here, and not sure the best way to explain it. It's not truly like a drop point, but it does, you know, kind of allow me for, I don't know, better woodworking. It's not super thick, you know, not super thin like a Mora, so it's like a perfect mix between heavy duty and light duty. It's not very thick of a blade, so, you know, you're able to get in there and turn in wood a lot, you know, nicer than you would some other kinds of bigger fat blades. It's got this very fine point on it, which, here I'm coming to the possible negative part of a Skookum Bush Tool. The blade is thinner than a lot of blades, and I can't quite remember the degree of this grind here, but what ends up happening is that you get this extremely fine tip up here, which I might even have to get up and get closer. But I stuck this into a piece of wood to cut leather, and a couple hours after that realized that something was missing on the knife. I'll try to get close and show you there. You might not be able to see that at all, but the very, 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 very fine tip of this blade actually broke off in the wood. And I've been embarrassed to tell anybody that because I love the knife so much. I don't want there to be anything wrong with it. But it did break off, and it's such a fine tip that broke off. It still has a good tip almost. You know, it is kind of flattened off, but I sharpened it, and it's totally functional now. It's just not a needle point anymore, which it nearly was. So, combination of steel and grind, I'm not sure. I've actually heard rumors that Mors Kochanski has asked Rod Garcia, the maker, to kind of make this a Tonto style tip for him because it was too fine or something. I don't know, that's all hearsay. I've never, I haven't heard it from myself. But, and I've also seen on a forum where a guy got a brand new one and it was Tontoed, and he emailed Rod Garcia, and Rod Garcia said he was doing it on purpose. So, but I've seen more out there that aren't like that. So I'm not real sure what the story is on the tips of the Skookum Bush Tool. It makes me really kind of wonder what's going on. It's such a sought after blade, and so many people are crazy about it, and I am too. I've been crazy about it for such a long time. But it sounds like some conspiracy thing happening about the tip. It's okay. I've lost mine, and I've figured it out since, and it's totally fine. You wouldn't even notice it unless you were drooling over this thing every day like I do. So, that said, this is a Skookum Bush Tool that Mors Kochanski did design in a book called Bushcraft. There was a chapter on a survival knife and what a survival knife should be. He laid it out pretty plainly. The blade should be about the width of the palm of the hand, the grip, and in the book, all those notes manifested this knife by Rod Garcia. What else can I say about this thing? I've used the heck out of it since I got it. Really, really enjoy it. See if I got a piece of paper that I'm allowed to cut up here. So, I'm just making sure that this wasn't a bill I needed. So anyway, these things are so sharp, I can't even, I can't even explain it. I'm not even, it's just too sharp, really. I could go on forever about how sharp it is and how awesome it is and how it stays sharp. I don't know what else to say. It's a beautiful, beautiful knife. The closest thing I have to it is a Bushcraft Northwest 01. So there is blades out there that are similar. The size is about the same. There definitely is differences. This is a little bit thicker. Of course, the handle's more rounded. It's got these thumb scallops. There's definitely differences. But what is they're more like a puko. And anytime I show somebody this who's not into bushcraft but into knives in general, that's like what they say. Oh, it's a puko. And tell them no, not necessarily. It stems from that, that's for sure. And those things are notoriously used for carving, so you can guess what this thing's strengths are, and that is wood carving. The sheath that it comes with, I absolutely love. It's been claimed as the ugliest sheath ever made, and to me, I think that's pretty cool. You know, I like having stuff like that. Um, it is awesome. It retains like you wouldn't believe, almost more so than I like, because I like to be able to just get in and out real fast. You know, this thing is pretty loose. I'm not worried about losing it. It's always on my belt when I wear it, and I like to just take it in and out without having to force it or use two hands. This one you definitely need two hands to get it out. This is designed for neck carry, which I do and I have and I still will, but I do enjoy carrying things on my belt all the time unless I am in the bush, and I wear this even when I'm not. So I just kind of made this whipped little belt loop thing here, and I can still run a cord through there and hang it around my neck. One thing that I don't like about wearing it around my neck is that it is pretty heavy. You know, this isn't a Mora. This is some heavy steel, and it weighs on your neck. That is for sure. You know it's there when you're wearing it. You know, it comes with kind of a little drainage hole at the end there. Very great sheath. If you don't like it, you know, there is kind of this same style sheath. This fits perfectly in here, and I've rocked this combo like that plenty of times, especially, you know, when I'm working and don't want this big thing hanging down. It actually hangs pretty low on my belt. This is kind of high on my belt, but there's, you know, options out there for sheaths if you don't like the ugliest sheath in the world. What else about the Skookum Bush Tool? I see no weaknesses. There's no weak spots. The fit and finish is awesome. The tip is the one thing in question that I would, you know, wonder what the real story is behind this thing. It's still, you know, the tip's almost just as fine as this one, so it's not like it's damaged, or, you know, it's still just as useful. I've carved bow drill boards, you know, and everything. I've done everything with this tip, even past it's been kind of tipped off there. But yeah, super blade, worth the waiting. Why not? You know, you don't pay for it till it's done. You might as well get on the list. When you have one, you can decide for yourself if it was worth the wait. Now that I have one, I definitely, this is my main user. It definitely is the thing that I want to have with me. But I've also realized that, you know, there is a lot of hype behind one of these, because there is knives out there that are similar. You know, steel is steel, you know, as long as it's tempered right and all that stuff. So you find a custom knife maker that, you know, can make something very, very similar to this for a lot less of the weight, time weight, anyway. So, but for me, you know, when I want something, I have to have it, and I do have it now, and I'm very happy I do. Excellent, excellent choice. You should see this thing strike, you know, off this. I mean, the back is super, super. Yeah, so awesome, so awesome. Can't complain, even about the tip necessarily. It was just sad because I thought this was going to be the most indestructible thing in the world, and all I did was put it in a piece of wood and pull it out, and the tip was gone. So, you know, it isn't the most indestructible thing in the world. It's not meant for abuse, although, you know, I've kind of abused it here and there when it comes to batoning, stuff like that, and it holds up just fine. The edge is still amazing. Geez, you know, that's about it. With that said, Skookum Bush Tool, amazing, amazing blade. You won't go wrong if you get one. Any steel that he chooses, they're all amazing steels. Rod Garcia does a great job. This thing all around is just excellent looking. Try to show you some. I don't know if that's even showing up very well. there it is. Fancy little blade. And together, you know, with this sheath, I think it's just the ugliest awesome combo in the world. I think it's really cool to have. So anyway, thanks so much. That probably wasn't the best review in the world, but I'm not much for reviewing. I just wanted to kind of give you an update on my use with the Skookum Bush Tool. So, bless. Thanks so much. Subscribe, like, comment, don't troll.